Sometimes late at
Country music sells itself as picket fence wholesome, but behind the steel guitars lurk bonfires, bullets, lawsuits, and tabloid meltdowns that make rock history look tame. We are about to cross 6 turbulent decades, starting with an inferno that wiped out rare wildlife and ending with scandals still unfolding on social media this morning. You will hear about forgotten kidnappings, prank helicopter landings, record-setting drunken rides, and a lawsuit over a fried bologna sandwich. Every tale cuts open the soft underbelly of a genre that claims Sunday virtues while living Friday night vices. Stay locked in, because the final twist might rewrite how you judge every country anthem. Johnny Cash never set out to become an accidental arsonist. Yet on June 27, 1965, his camper erupted inside California's Los Padres National Forest. Cash and his nephew were fishing when an overheated wheel-bearing sparked dry grass. Flames leapt canyon walls, roasted 500 acres, and killed 49 California condors. Rangers confronted the singer at the hospital. He was nursing burns and annoyance. Asked about the dead birds, Cash allegedly snapped, "I don't care about your yellow buzzards." A federal court later billed him $82,000, and the legend still smolders. Johnny Paycheck preferred lead. On December 19, 1985, the Take This Job and Shove It outlaw entered the North High Lounge in Hillsboro, Ohio. After multiple bourbons, he argued with a stranger over the proper fried bologna sandwich. Paycheck pulled a .22 pistol. The bullet grazed the man's head. He served 22 months, emerging hoarse, yet somehow more marketable. Guns also framed Jerry Lee Lewis's strangest visit to Graceland. In November 1976, Elvis Presley's cameras caught Lewis ramming the gates in a Lincoln with a .38 on the seat. Guards disarmed him. Photographs show the killer glaring through squad car bars. By the time courts handled these three, journalists coined outlaw country, yet few realized how literally some singers embraced the label. Cash joked the Condors forgave him. Lewis claimed the pistol was a prop, and Paycheck insisted the sandwich spat was exaggerated. Spin could not erase the public's fascination with musicians who flip from gospel harmony to headline horror in a single afternoon. These fiery stories shattered the myth that country stars embodied family values, and they are only the opening act. Love songs can hide bruises and ransom notes. On a cool October night in 1978, Tammy Wynette told police she had been abducted at gunpoint near a Nashville mall, beaten and abandoned miles away. Detectives whispered doubts. Friends suspected husband manager George Ritchie. No charges stuck, and the mystery lingers like the chorus of "Stand By Your Man." Domestic strife also fueled a jackpot breakup song. Dolly Parton spent 7 years beside Porter Wagoner. When she tried to leave his TV show in 1974, he sued for breach of contract. Parton wrote, "I Will Always Love You," a farewell that became a Whitney Houston pop behemoth and earned enough to buy back her freedom. Meanwhile, Loretta Lynn stormed country radio with realism it wasn't ready to broadcast. The Pill, an ode to birth control, and Rated X, about divorce stigma, triggered bans across dozens of stations. Lynn shrugged, played packed halls, and watched sales climb, accidentally becoming a feminist icon among coal country mothers who never said feminism. These stories prove Nashville's prettiest harmonies spring from misery. Kidnapping myths, courtroom duels, and censorship crackdowns created drama bigger than any fiddle solo. And the tragedies shaped by fate itself, premonitions, plane crashes, and a fall so steep it rewired a superstar's face, were still to come, feeding the paradox that keeps fans listening. Some singers sense the reaper before he knocks. Patsy Cline finished a benefit show on March 3, 1963, told friends she felt strangely at peace, and began giving away costumes. 2 days later, her plane slammed into a Tennessee forest. Rescuers found her wristwatch stopped at 6:20, matching the moment fans claimed they heard a phantom note drift across the Opry stage. Fate also toyed with Buddy Holly's tour. On February 2, 1959, Holly chartered a 4-seat Beechcraft to outrun Midwest cold. Waylon Jennings surrendered his seat to a flu-ridden Big Bopper. Holly joked, "Hope your bus freezes," and Jennings quipped back, "Hope your plane crashes." The wreck turned the quip into a lifelong nightmare. Reba McEntire felt a similar chill in March 1991 when a charter jet carrying her band clipped Otay Mountain minutes after takeoff. She dedicated every concert to the 8 lost friends. Hank Williams took his final ride on New Year's Day 1953, found dead in a Cadillac back seat en route to a show. Promoters still positioned his guitar under a spotlight. Hank Williams Jr. battled his own omens after tumbling 500 feet down Ajax Mountain in 1975, shattering his skull. Months of surgical grafts and a new beard hat sunglasses uniform turned disaster into branding gold. Remember these dates? A misplaced joke, an unexpected storm, or a loose rock can pivot the genre's entire history, opening tomorrow's stage slot through tragedy's cruel vacancy. Some stars outran fate and then embroidered the chase into legend. David Allan Coe emerged from prison with braids, a hearse tour bus, and claims of biker caves. Journalists found scant proof, yet the myth sold tickets. George Jones showed equal flair without leaving his driveway. In 1971, Tammy hid every vehicle key. Jones fired up a riding mower and crawled 8 miles to buy whiskey, later reenacting it in a video. The IRS nearly separated Willie Nelson from his battered guitar trigger in 1990. He hid it in a Maui basement while fans mailed checks and he recorded the IRS tapes to pay taxes. Chris Christopherson's boldest pitch involved borrowing a helicopter, landing on Johnny Cash's lawn and handing him "Sunday Morning Coming Down." Cash listened, loved it, and Christopherson's career lifted faster than the rotors. Lawnmower rides, tax-dodging guitars, and airborne demos prove audacity doubles as publicity. But live microphones invite fresh chaos, and the award show stage would soon host tempers, lighters, and egos setting another blaze. Award nights promise scripted glamour, yet country ceremonies often veer into chaos. At the 1975 CMAs, silver-haired Charlie Rich opened the entertainer envelope, saw John Denver's name, ignited the card with a lighter and walked off stage while millions watched. Denver, via satellite from Australia, smiled unaware his accolade was smoldering in Nashville. Dolly Parton's mischief came in a Los Angeles bar hosting a Dolly lookalike contest. She entered anonymously, overdid her makeup, and lost to a 6'2" queen. She later said it was the cheapest fun she ever had. Loretta Lynn kept testing censors even after the pill, writing letters thanking radio stations for free publicity each time they banned her. That wit helped her become the first woman to win CMA Entertainer in 1972. Live television magnifies triumph and tantrum alike, yet in the streaming era every phone is a broadcast truck, and scandals spread before presenters can finish, and the winner is. Cameras blink constantly, fans never miss a frame, and the next firestorm is only one swipe away. Modern controversies erupt faster because social media acts like dry tinder. In July 2023, Jason Aldean released "Try That in a Small Town," filming at a courthouse linked to lynchings. Critics called it coded racism. CMT pulled the video, streams doubled, and outrage became an amplifier louder than any steel solo. A month later, Miranda Lambert paused her Las Vegas show to scold front-row fans snapping selfies during a ballad. Walkout videos went viral and debates over concert etiquette raged, while her ticket sales stayed strong. Early 2024 brought Luke Combs's merch lawsuit. Lawyers won a default $250,000 judgment against a disabled Florida woman selling bootlegs. Backlash exploded, prompting Combs to apologize, invite her to a show, refund her money, and let her keep vending official gear. Morgan Wallen's saga shows fallout can linger. A neighbor's camera caught him using a slur in 2021. Labels suspended him, yet album sales soared. 2 years later, he allegedly hurled a chair from a Nashville rooftop bar, renewing questions about forgiveness limits. Speed links these uproars. Moments once filtered through newspaper deadlines now detonate on TikTok and mutate across podcasts. Fans serve as judge, jury, and redemption committee, as seen when Combs reversed course within 48 hours. Gatekeepers who once controlled controversy, radio programmers, award boards, now chase the narrative instead of leading it. Veteran publicists privately admit they keep crisis templates ready in drafts, complete with apologies, charitable pledges, and midnight embargoes. Streaming algorithms quietly reward spikes in conversation, pushing the very tracks under fire onto Discovery playlists. Outrage has become a form of invisible playlist payola. Critics longing for calmer times forget history's pattern. If Cash torched condors and Charlie Rich torched envelopes, viral flames are simply the newest medium for an old message. Every viewer now holds a front row seat, whether they paid for one or just scrolled during lunch. Long before songs about prison bars became cliches, Merle Haggard actually heard the clang each night inside San Quentin. Arrested for a botched Bakersfield robbery at 20, he spent New Year's Day 1959 watching Johnny Cash thunder through Folsom Prison Blues on the penitentiary stage. The concert jolted Haggard into swapping chisels for chord charts. He mastered guitar between head counts, earned his GED, and wrote lyrics on laundry slips. After parole, he cut Sing a Sad Song, launching a career that eventually scored 38 number ones. Yet he never scrubbed away the inmate number A45200, tattooed in memory. Haggard's stardom proved authenticity sells, especially when the origin story involves iron doors nobody can stage prop, and it hinted at how redemption narratives would become country's most profitable export. Authenticity sometimes veers into pain. Songwriter Townes Van Zandt, heir to a Texas oil fortune, begged doctors at 17 for insulin shock therapy meant to treat schizophrenia. He wanted, he later claimed, to taste oblivion so he could write about it. The seizures erased memories, forcing him to relearn guitar, yet they birthed hymns like Waitin' Around to Die that sound carved from a coffin lid. His friend Blaze Foley roamed Austin in duct-taped shoes and once glued a bar's furniture to the ceiling so nobody could sit during his set. Foley died defending a woman from abuse. Police lost the master tapes found in his pocket. Townes sang at the funeral, whispered "See you soon," and followed 5 years later. Country's patriot image cracked in 2003 when the Dixie Chicks, standing on a London stage, criticized President George W. Bush days before the Iraq invasion. Within 48 hours, U.S. stations organized record-smashing boycotts, bulldozers crushed CDs in radio station parking lots, and sponsors fled. The trio lost half their airplay overnight, but refused to recant, gracing Time magazine's cover tattooed with the headline "Traitors." Instead of fading, the Chicks pivoted, won 5 Grammys for Taking the Long Way, and ignited ongoing debates about whether dissent fits inside a cowboy hat. Their saga foretold how political flashpoints would ricochet through the genre for decades, teaching modern stars that one offhand comment can turn arena cheers into bonfire fuel faster than any guitar amp malfunction. Not every controversy involved politics or violence. Sometimes it sprouted from pure creative whiplash. In 1999, Garth Brooks, the best-selling solo artist in U.S. history, unveiled an alter ego named Chris Gaines, complete with emo wig, soul patch, and a faux Australian backstory about racing cars and surviving sex addiction. Brooks planned a movie titled The Lamb starring Gaines, but fans scratched their Stetsons at the black eyeliner ballads slotted between Friends in Low Places on set lists. Sales tanked relative to Brooks's stadium scale, critics mocked the concept, and Nashville whispered that even megastars possessed crash and burn permission slips. A decade later, memes resurrected Gaines as camp legend, illustrating how country's cultural memory eventually forgives everything except blandness. Casey Musgraves tested modern boundaries with glitter instead of gunpowder. On live television at the 2013 CMAs, she sang "Follow Your Arrow," praising same-sex kisses and recreational weed between steel guitar hooks. Producers flashed applause lights half-heartedly as older audience members sat frozen like porch statues. The single stalled at radio, program directors quietly cited lyrical concerns. Yet digital streams soared and Musgraves won Song of the Year, hoisting the trophy while reporters Googled how many states had legalized anything. Her victory signaled a generational shift. Gatekeepers could slow progress, but they could no longer wall it out. TikTok teens would blast the track in cars their grandparents paid for, singing about rolling up another joint at red lights outside the same churches her critics attended. Nothing illustrated genre identity crises more vividly than Lil Nas X's Old Town Road. The 19-year-old Atlanta rapper stitched a cowboy meme and a 9 Inch Nails banjo sample, uploaded it to TikTok, and galloped onto Billboard's Hot Country chart before executives noticed the trap drums. Hours later, the song vanished, deemed not country enough. The move backfired spectacularly. Billy Ray Cyrus joined a remix. The track spent 19 weeks at #1 overall, and viral debates about race, sound, and who owns Western iconography erupted across morning shows. Country radio stations quietly added the remix anyway after listeners requested it under disguise of Cyrus nostalgia, proving once again that popularity is the most persuasive A&R executive on earth. Streaming farms in Jakarta now boot-scoot the numbers during sleepless overnight hours. Darkness sometimes turned outright monstrous. Western swing band leader Spade Cooley, crowned King of Western Swing in the 40s, hosted a television show that outrated Disneyland. Behind closed doors, he spiraled into booze-fueled paranoia. In 1961, he beat and killed his wife Ella May so brutally that jurors wept during testimony. Sentenced to life, he nonetheless persuaded officials to grant him a furlough to play a benefit concert for law enforcement families. Moments after a rousing standing ovation, Cooley collapsed backstage from a heart attack and died on the spot, leaving California scrambling to explain why a convicted murderer had just serenaded sheriffs. His records vanished from playlists overnight, a reminder that some scandals are too gruesome even for a genre that romanticizes sorrow. Country's visual flair carries its own bizarre lineage. Starting in the 40s, Ukrainian immigrant tailor Nudie Cohn stitched rhinestone suits for stars who wanted Broadway sparkle under honky-tonk lights. He embedded wagon wheel buttons, silver dollars for belt loops, even working 6-shooter holsters onto stage jackets. Porter Wagoner's wagon wheel outfit weighed 13 pounds and cost more than a new Cadillac. Cohn drove a custom Cadillac himself. Gold-plated steer horns on the hood, pistol-grip gear shift, and a saddle instead of a passenger seat, turning Hollywood Boulevard into a rolling press release. The paradox was clear. Singers selling dirt road authenticity wore outfits that glittered like Las Vegas slot machines, proving that sincerity and showmanship are not opposites but partners, two-stepping beneath the spotlight. As the 2020s unfold, AI playlists predict which barbecue-scented lyric you will tap before you even open the app. Songwriters feed chatbots half-finished choruses at dawn, then pitch demos by lunch. Virtual reality bars stream hologram Garth shows while bartenders debate whether tips should come in crypto. The tools evolve, but the operating system, human chaos, remains stubborn code. The next superstar might spark outrage via an ill-timed tweet, a drone-delivered mixtape, or a confession on Twitch. Country's messy honesty will fit whatever screen replaces your rectangle. Expect heartbreak, heroism, and at least one runaway grill fire before the decade ends. Strip away the rhinestones and you find a single thread connecting every tale we've covered. Country music markets comfort while living on the brink. Cash's wildfire, Wynette's puzzling abduction story, Klein's doom-laden farewell, Jones's lawnmower liquor run, Aldean's courthouse uproar, each episode pits a wholesome narrative against a messy truth. That tension generates energy, like two live wires sparking whenever they touch. Today, the studio walls are glass. Fans witness meltdowns in real time, replay missteps frame by frame, and decide within hours whether to cancel or canonize. Yet the genre survives, perhaps thrives, because imperfection verifies authenticity. A spotless saint singing about hardship rings hollow. A flawed human piping regret through steel guitar feels real. Listeners forgive more easily than executives, especially when the next chorus hits just right. So next time a country scandal floods your feed, pause and remember the long arc we've traced tonight. Outlaws, tragedies, and envelope fires are not side stories. They are the narrative backbone. Country's greatest strength is its willingness to reveal scars, sometimes by accident, sometimes on purpose. In a world polished to algorithmic shine, that rawness keeps the music beating. And if history repeats, as it always does, tomorrow's viral video will feature a new voice stumbling, apologizing, and rising again to outsell the outrage. The guitars will keep twanging, the drums will keep shuffling, and somewhere, in the hush before an encore, another legend will decide whether to tame the chaos or let it ride. Either way, we'll be listening. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe, and also click the next video shown on your screen.